First, I want to give a thank you to Mel Hewitt for being the sponsor of this luncheon. And of course, I want to offer my congratulations to Phil Gerson, who's been a friend and a mentor for many years. And Phil's right, he's a charter member of the National Crime Victim Bar Association, and he was our very first president. And I've always said, in many ways, Phil Gerson is our George Washington. And
wouldn't he?
Much like George Washington, Phil was always our first choice and remains so today. His commitment to civil justice for victims is unparalleled. He's helped to expand and institutionalize the vision of Frank Carrington, and this is an honor and recognition which is richly deserved. I want to also offer my congratulations to Brad Edwards and Brittany Henderson and Adam Horwitz and Jeff Anderson and Jeff Budden and their teams, and Brian Kent as well, for their achievements which have helped realize the promise of civil justice for victims. The tremendous service that each of you provides to victims is that you consistently challenge the complacency of the status quo. You take time-honored principles and give them new applications in our ongoing quest for justice. We continue to teach others what we have long recognized, that the very first crime victim's right was the 7th Amendment to the Constitution, which has been offering opportunities for justice and accountability since 1791. In June, I celebrated 20 years with the National Center for Victims of Crime, and I can look back with pride on all that we have accomplished together over that time. Our membership has grown from 24 to over 400. We have produced 18 national conferences, a robust listserv which keeps all of you connected and helping one another, 148 civil justice seminars in 36 states, civil justice booklets for 33 states, and 3 of them in Spanish, a specific CLE program for prosecutors to help bridge that gap between civil and criminal. And our work with Trial Lawyers Care in the aftermath of 9/11 taught attorneys that victims of terrorism are victims of crime, and they need to be recognized as such. And this eventually led to our efforts to assist victims of mass violence through the National Compassion Fund. We're now authorized to operate a referral fee-based attorney referral service in more than 40 states. 32 states don't require certification, but where they do, we have been certified by the state bars of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan, Texas, Ohio, New York, Vermont, the American Bar Association, and as of last week, we were certified, finally, by California. We have impressive amicus efforts at every level, from trial courts to the United States Supreme Court. And we create law not just in the courts, but in the legislature as well, because we've successfully fought to protect and expand the civil justice rights of victims. Here in 2005, in Florida, we helped keep the intentional tortfeasor off the verdict form in negligence cases. In Minnesota in 2013, we led the fight that eliminated the civil statute of limitations for child sex abuse and opened a 3-year window for cases whose statute had previously expired. This year in California, we sponsored legislation that raises the statute of limitation for child sex abuse to the age of 40 and opens a 3-year civil window. It passed the Assembly by veto-proof margins and now sits on the governor's desk, and we hope that he's going to sign it. And so it looks like our certification as a referral service in California came just in time. Despite all of these accomplishments, there's much that remains to be done. And as Phil Gerson correctly pointed out, there's a lot of challenges ahead. And while I'm confident that those challenges will be met, they'll have to be met by new leadership. Because the time has come for me to step aside as director of the National Crime Victim Bar Association and pursue new opportunities. I'm excited to announce that beginning January 1st, I'll begin my tenure as Chief Executive Officer of the Zero Abuse Project. And Zero Abuse is harnessing the power of artificial intelligence to evaluate the risk factors that suggest potential predatory individuals. It's funding work at Mitchell-Hamlin Law School to teach and train law students, lawyers, and judges on combating the sexual exploitation of children and the use of trauma-informed care. It's making grants to help service providers offer evidence-based peer and clinical support that meets communities where they are. And it offers survivors the opportunity to act through STOP, which is Survivors Taking on Predators. The Zero Abuse Project will also engage in impact litigation. And of course, we'll keep fighting to change the law to make kids safer. Zero Abuse has assembled a highly regarded staff, including Neil Sahota, who's the father of artificial intelligence who created Watson for IBM, Victor Veith, who's the former director of the National Child Protection Training Center, and Tom Doyle, who's the world's foremost authority on the Catholic Church's mishandling of the clergy abuse crisis. And I couldn't be more honored to be in the company of those individuals. We have 4 months to ensure a smooth transition and hopefully search the nation to select a new director. And it's also enough time to do a farewell tour, as we still need to do 2 or 3 more civil justice seminars to meet this year's goal. So if you've been waiting to host a seminar, or if you want to do one more for old time's sake while the original cast is still performing, we could go to Indiana or New Hampshire, where we've never done a seminar, or we could go back to Arizona or New Mexico or Colorado to prepare for next year's conference in Denver. So see me so we can get you on the schedule right away and start planning a great seminar. You all know that I entered this field to honor my sister's memory and make the path of recovery for other survivors a little easier. My work with the National Crime Victim Bar Association has been a joy. I've had the privilege of waking up every day and knowing that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, it can be difficult when we work with people at the darkest moments of their lives. But the important thing to remember is that we bring light to dark places. And what's allowed me to stay in this position for as long as I have is each of you. Your friendship, your support, your commitment to this cause that we share. You are the heart of this organization, and you are why this organization will continue to flourish. The staff at the NCBPA and the National Center has changed over the years, but you have been my constants. You've been good friends and good mentors to me. And if you haven't yet done so, please friend me on Facebook or connect with me on LinkedIn. And this conference will always be the place where I can see all of my favorite people in the world all in the same place once a year. And I'm going to be here at the conference next year, but I'm going to be sitting out there with all of you because I'll be doing it as a member of the National Crime Victim Bar Association. In the words of my favorite song from Wicked, I've heard it said that people come come into our lives for a reason, to teach us something we must learn. And we're led to those who help us most to grow, if we let them, and if we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I've known you. I'm convinced that I've been changed for the better. And because I've known each of you, I've been changed for good. And for that, I thank you. Our educational program resumes at 1:30. Thanks so much.